Welcome. Welcome back for the second video in our series of Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is a combination of breath, movement, and meditation. I'm Deb, this is Mckensey, and we're here to walk you through a half an hour of movement for strengthening, for courage, and for meditation. Let's begin. Come into your space, find a comfortable place to sit, a comfortable position to sit. I like to sit on a bolster. You might be sitting in a chair, or you might be sitting on your yoga mat, whatever is comfortable for you. Think to yourself, how can I make myself 5% more comfortable? Is it warm enough? Is it cool enough? Is your cushion comfortable for you? Is your seated position comfortable for you? How can I make myself 5% more comfortable right here in this moment and in this space? Taking a deep breath in through your nose and blow out through your mouth. Breathing in and exhale. Bringing hands to heart center. Inhale, exhale, reaching up and back down to heart center. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. We know that deep breathing helps with stress. It helps bring down cortisol levels in our body. It helps to move our lymphatic system, getting rid of toxins that are in our blood and moving those out. So taking nice deep breaths as we move our arms and coming back to heart center. Good. Take a moment to settle into your space. Reaching down with our right hand to the floor next to us, bringing our left hand up towards the ceiling, a nice long stretch. And on your next breath, we're tipping over to the right side and coming back up to center and down. Let's do that on the other side, reaching down with left. Right hand comes up, nice long stretch, as long as you can stretch that arm up. And on your next breath, tipping over to the side. Coming up and down. Let's repeat that. If your neck allows you to look up towards your fingers and towards the ceiling, it's a nice warm up for neck as well. One more. Very nice. Let's reach behind us with our right hand. A little bit of a spine twist, taking our left hand and placing it on our right knee. And just leading with our shoulders, not our neck and not our chin, but just our shoulders, a nice twist at the waist. Breathing gently. Coming around slowly to center. And let's try that on the other side. Reach down with our left hand. Right hand comes over to left knee. Reach behind you. Nice twist. And hold that breathing gently. And release back to center. Very good. We're going to do a fun move. I call it the dirty t-shirt. So we're going to bring our right hand to our left shoulder and our right hand over the top. Lifting up as we take off that dirty t-shirt. Breathing in and coming back down again. Let's do it the opposite way. Excellent. Oh, we're warming up. We're feeling so much more alive. We're going to move into our meditation segment at this time. So I'm going to ask you just to think for a moment of all of those thoughts that are going around in our head. There are hundreds of thoughts at this point in time. Some of those thoughts might be related to fear. Some of those thoughts might be related to worry. So we're going to take a moment to replace those thoughts, there's so many of them, with one thought. And that thought will be the intent that you set for yourself for the next half hour. And whether or not that intent goes with you for the rest of the day or the rest of the week, it could be. But just for now, just right in this moment, we're going to just let that intent be the thought that our brain comes back to while we're practicing and working in our yoga. Sometimes we think about replacing the word, let's say, the C in chaos, or the C in concern, or the C in cancer, with a word that is better serving us. So for today, is there a word that begins with the same letter? For example, calm, courage, community. Can you think of any others? So choose that word, and that's the word that we're going to bring our mind back to when our mind, which it will want to do, drifts off into all of those hundreds of other thoughts that we might have with us. All right, let's practice that right now. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're going to take a mindful moment to examine and take a look at those hundreds of thoughts that are spinning in your head. We're going to go there, and it's okay. I'll talk you through it. So all of those would-haves and could-haves and should-haves, the to-do lists, the worries, the concerns. Look at those right now. Embrace those thoughts right now. Send love to those thoughts. And take those thoughts and wrap them up and let them drift off into a corner of your mind. And if you want to turn those thoughts over to your higher power, now is a good time to do that. And when your mind drifts back to those thoughts, we're going to let your mind come back to the intent, that word that begin with the letter C today: calm, courage, community, conviction. Whatever that C word might be for you, we're going to bring you back to just that one thought to occupy your mind. Ready? Let's practice. on your knees. We're going to open our hands, palms facing up, and breathing in all the goodness of the universe. And on your exhale, we're bringing that in and making a fist. Inhale, open. Exhale, fist. Inhale, open. Bringing in all of that you wish to bring in, and exhaling all that you do not need. Inhale. Exhale. Letting go of that which we do not need, and inhaling that which we desire. Wonderful. You're doing a great job. We're going to segment now into our next warm-up. So, ready to move. We'll clear away our bolster from our mat. And the first pose, we're going to do a bit of a dog theme to start with. So I'll have you come around to tabletop, all fours. And we're going to tuck our toes under so our toenails are on the mat. And this is called playful puppy. Just going to lower ourselves down to our elbows. And resting our head on the mat. If that's too much of a stretch, you can always bring your bolster over and put your forehead on your bolster or your blanket or your block. Next inhale, coming back up to tabletop. Good, how does that feel? Playful puppy. Mckensey likes that one. Let's do that again. Down to elbows. Inhale and exhale when you get to the bottom, and then breathe gently. Inhale, coming back up to tabletop. Take a moment. And our third time. Remember, in Hatha Yoga, we try to practice each pose 3 times, and we always try to practice it on our left side and on our right side if it's that kind of pose. Excellent. Coming up to all fours. Good. We're going to walk into down dog. This one is a good strengthening for your arms and your legs. So curling our toes under on the mat. We're going to push ourselves up slowly and push ourselves backward towards our heels. Our hands are spread apart on the mat. Our fingers are spread apart. Our neck is soft and relaxed. And as we push ourselves back towards the heels of our feet, eventually what we want to be able to do is really have a long stretch in that Achilles tendon and the back of our legs and our calves, so that our heels touch the floor. If that's not what your heels are doing at this time, that's okay. Sometimes to get a longer stretch, we can back our feet up more. To get a shorter stretch, bring your feet forward. So find a position that's just right for you. And slowly coming back down to the mat. And here we're going to slide back to child's pose. So putting our toenails back down on the mat. We're going to slowly lower our derriere, our bottom, down to the heels of our feet. So slowly bringing our bottom down to the heels. If this is too much of a stretch or too hard on your ankles, there's a couple of things you can do. You can place a blanket underneath your ankles. You can also take the blanket and place it between your legs and your bottom. So those are two modifications that might work. So lowering, whatever works for you, hands are stretched out in front. And we're going to come down to that playful puppy pose to our elbows. And then lowering our head down to the mat. Again, if you need your bolster underneath your forehead, you can rest on your bolster. You can rest on a blanket. And you can also rest on your fists. Great. On your next breath, coming up to all fours, we're going to push up to down dog. Remember, we're pushing backward towards the heels of our feet. Pretend that there's a golden cord tied to your tailbone, and that cord is pulling your tailbone right up to the ceiling. Breathing gently. We like to try to hold our poses for 30 seconds. You go as far as you would like to do. And then each day, increase your strength. You might find your muscles are a little wobbly to start with, but after a while, they get stronger and stronger. On your next breath, we're going to lower ourselves slowly down to the mat and sliding back into child's pose. Excuse me. Next breath, coming up to tabletop. Sometimes when I do these inverted, I'm sorry that I'm coughing, but it does loosen things up, and it makes our sinuses and our ears clear out because we're inverting, which is all good. It's good. It's all right. Play around with putting your feet up closer to your hands or extending your feet further away. Find an area, the spot that just works for you. Breathing gently, don't forget to breathe. Unclench your jaw. On your next breath, we're slowly going to lower to the mat. And one more child's pose. Back we go. Child's pose can be a very restorative pose. Some people use it as a restorative pose. It's a nice one to relax into and let all of your muscles on every exhale release your muscles even a little bit further and further. Just relax into the pose. On your next breath, we're coming up to tabletop, and this time we're going to swing our right foot forward, swing our left foot forward, And we're going to push ourselves up to standing position. This is mountain pose. We come back to a neutral mountain pose. Go ahead and take a breath in and take a moment to remember that word that you put into your mind today. Courage, calm, community. Whatever that might be, we're bringing our minds back as we work on movement, breath, and meditation. Our movement part of our class today is called standing tall. So mountain pose is definitely part of that. Standing with your feet comfortably apart on your mat, wiggle your toes, find a nice balance in your feet. Palms are facing out, knees are slightly bent. There's a cord attached to the top of your head, pulling your head up towards the ceiling. Bring your shoulder blades together in the back and then drop them gently. Check and see where your midsection is. We don't want it bowed forward and we don't want a hunchback. So somewhere in the middle, in a neutral. Taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Finding that place where you have one thought in your head. Acknowledging the other thoughts as they creep in, because they will. Gently moving them on, moving them out of the way, sending them off, and replacing those many thoughts with just one thought. Breathe in and bring both hands up to a long stretch, and we're going to tip and push. Tip our hands to the right and push our hip to the left for a crescent, and coming back up to center, and the same on the other side. Coming back up to center, good. Crescent moon. Just gently waving, gently moving. Feels so good to move our back. And coming back to heart center. Last week we worked on tree pose. This week we're going to be working on a balance to strengthen hips. So taking your block, and if you don't have a block, that's okay. You can use a kitchen step stool. So I just happen to have mine here. And I'm going to stand my left foot on my kitchen step stool, and my right foot is hanging off into space. I can put my hands on my hips, I can put my hands at my heart. So just making gentle circles with that right foot that's hanging off into space. Bringing that foot up. Now we're going to dip the right foot down, past the step, and coming back up again. This is a great one to do on your own stair steps. And that way sometimes you have the banister or the railing to hold on to for a little bit of balance help. But if we can get to a point where we're doing this without balance help, it's amazing how this is going to build your bone density in your hips, as well as strengthen those hips for anything that you want to do. Walking, bicycle riding, shopping, when we get out again. All right, let's go ahead and come down off of that stool and turn around and let the other foot have a chance. If I'm on my block, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Bringing the foot forward, back. My left foot is now doing the movement, but do you know that it's your right hip that's doing the exercise? That's what's strengthening right now. Standing tall. Coming back up. Let's go ahead and dip that left foot down to the floor and back up again. This is our balance pose today. Can you feel a little bit of work going on in this other hip? Very nice. Good job. Last week we worked on Warrior One. In Warrior One, we started with our feet apart. I'm going to tip my right toes in towards the center just a little bit, and my left toes are going to go straight out towards the short end of my mat. Pull my stomach in, don't want my back arched. In Warrior One, we moved our shoulders towards the front and brought both hands up overhead. Do you remember that? And we bent our knees slightly forward. Remember, we wanted to see our toe, our big toe, past our knee. And then straighten our knee and come back. Today we're going to add triangle pose. So when we come back, we're bringing our hands out to the side. Left hand is going to come down to the inside of our left leg, and our right arm is going to extend towards the ceiling. And you can look up after the right hand if you want to, if your neck lets you. Or you can keep your eyes straight ahead if your neck is more comfortable. We're going to slowly let that hand slide down our left leg. This is where a block might come in handy. If you want to reach down and put your hand on the block, it helps with balance and it helps us with our stretching. Pushing with our legs, we come back up and hands come down. Turning slightly, bending our knee into warrior pose. On your next breath, hands come down, knees straightens, arms in a star, and here we go to triangle again. Next breath, pushing up through our legs, and arms come back down. Warrior One. Breathing, coming back down. Triangle. Pushing up. Good. How'd that feel? Very good. We're going to turn our feet around and do the same thing, only on the right side. Back foot is coming in to a 45-degree angle. Front foot is facing forward. Warrior One. Knee is slightly bent. Breathing gently. Don't clench your jaw. Knee straightens, hands come out to the side, and the right hand sneaks down the inside of that leg, coming down wherever is comfortable. Sometimes it's comfortable to lean your right elbow on that front leg. How's that feel? That's a little variation. Pushing up and arms come down. Warrior One. Next breath, leg straightens, arms come down. Triangle. pushing up. Arms are down. Warrior one. Straighten your knee. One last triangle. You're doing great. Whatever works for you. Might have a block. Might have a long stretch. And push back up. Bring feet around and let's step together and come back to mountain pose. Excellent. You've all done really well. You have earned restorative yoga time. Yay! All right, we're going to go back down to our mats, and today we're going to do a restorative yoga pose called supported bridge. We did bridge work last week. Same thing. This week we're going to take our blanket, or you can take a block. We're going to push ourselves up to bridge pose and slide that block underneath our sacrum. Oops, I hit that block. Pushing up. My block is going to go underneath the flat of my back, not on my tailbone, but in the sacrum area. Palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Knees are bent. We're resting in restorative yoga pose. In this pose, nothing should be working, no muscles, just breathing and coming back to your center, coming back to that word, that one thought that is in your head. Here we go, restorative yoga, resting. And on your next breath, I know we could stay there much longer, and you are invited to stay there as long as you would like to. For the rest of us, we're going to move into Savasana, so lifting our hips up and taking that block out from underneath. We're going to stretch our legs long, bring our hands down to our side with our palms facing up. And we're just going to let our feet flop to where it's comfortable. If you want to put a blanket over yourself to stay warm. If you need a blanket under your head or under your knees, now is the time to grab that prop. And in Savasana, we relax and we let our mind wander into silence. And taking that one thought and honoring it and thanking it and seeing if we can bring our mind to a space of just silence. Here we go. Taking a deep breath, and on our next breath, we're going to roll to the side and brings our knees up just a little bit and cradle our head with our arm. And just stay here for a moment while we gather our thoughts. We express our gratitude that our bodies helped us and worked with us, and we're so grateful for this past time together. We take time to think about that one thought and how we're going to incorporate that into the rest of our day. And pushing up to seated position. I'd like to thank everyone for being with me today. It has been wonderful. Please leave your comments, suggestions in the comments with this video. It's always very well appreciated. So I like to end class by saying that the light and the spirit within me recognizes the light and the spirit within each of you. Namaste.